Both the squads are now in, and finally we could get a good grasp on who will win the Border Gavaskar Trophy 2024, this time happening in Australia. India has won the last 4 BGTs and have won 10 out of the 16 editions. Judging by past performances, it does look like India might go on to win another one, but Australia always comes back after setbacks. First, let's discuss the squads of each team. India first. Rohit Sharma will be captaining the team once again. He's been a pretty good test batter, better than he was prior to 2021, but unfortunately, since he won the T20 World Cup, he's been looking pretty bad in tests. I would prefer to drop him for a younger player like Devdutt Padikkal, or even a more experienced one who is just better like Baba Indrajit. I get why he's here though. He's also been captaining well, but since Gambhir came along, it looked like there were some disputes in the fielding and mentality. They look to attack more with the bat and then field a little more defensively than Rohit would like. Abhimanyu Easwaran is in the squad on debut. He's been doing well in first-class cricket, but most of his runs have come against weaker bowling attacks. I would have preferred someone with a little more experience or better records than him, like Abhishek Porel or Ishad Kishan, Ruturaj Gaikwad or Sai Sudarshan. He's not that bad though. Some of these picks are obvious, so I won't discuss them much, like Yashasvi Jaiswal. Dhruv Jurel is a very good pick. He counters bounce well and can play knocks like a number 4 plays in innings. He can bat well in the middle order and is technically strong. And he also keeps. Sarfaraz Khan, he's recently scored a century against New Zealand, but other than that, there's been no notable recent innings. He's pretty solid, good at 5 and 6. He's basically a more attacking Jurel. Virat Kohli does need some reasoning. Obviously, he's a great batter, the best in the world since like 2008, but he's averaging 34 in tests since 2021. He's still a quality player though, so I understand including him. But Rohit and Kohli should be dropped for not performing. Rishabh Pant and Shubman Gill need no reasoning. They're both in pretty solid form and can play pacers well. Shubman Gill though, like he's a little inconsistent, but that's fine. KL Rahul though, he's a different story entirely. He might just be finished. If you remove ODI since 2022, he's been averaging 27. I don't get including him when better batters like Sai Sudarshan and Devdutt Padikkal are available. If you need a backup keeper, you have Jurel. Spin twins Ravi Ashwin and Ravi Jadeja obviously need no reasoning. They had one bad series and Jadeja still took a 10-wicket haul in the last match of that series, and people already want to drop them. They're great players. Washington Sundar did spectacular the last time India played the BGT in Australia, and he was India's best bowler and like the second or third best batter against New Zealand when they got whitewashed. Nitish Kumar Reddy is an extremely dumb choice though. What's the point? He hasn't shown any brilliance anywhere outside of white ball matches. Hardik and Shardul are right there and available right in front of our eyes. Any of those two could have been a better fit. His first-class batting numbers are worse than Washington's, and he's alright with the ball, but can only provide quick breakthroughs, which is fine, but not what India need. I don't think that they completely thought through this pick, but it's whatever. I guess he's still in the squad. Next, Bumrah is a no-brainer. Mohammad Siraj, Prasidh Krishna, and Akashdeep are all pretty interesting picks. I wouldn't want them, especially when Mukesh Kumar and Shardul Thakur are available. Both Prasidh and Akash hit the deck harder, so I do kind of understand it. They'd also get good carry and bounce on the Australian pitches, but there are still some better picks. Siraj hasn't been at his best, but I'm glad the management is supporting him. I don't think he'll do well in Australia though. Might be more useful in England and Australia. Harshit Rana is a very good pick. He's a great player and can adapt to different conditions, at least that's what I see when he bowls. I'm confident that he will be debuting the series. 5 out of 10 squad for India. Now on to the Australians. Australia has just had a problem with their opening because Davey Warner retired. They're coming off an ODI series loss, but they should be fine now that Travis Head is back. Most of this squad needs no explanation. Steve Smith, Usman Khawaja, Pat Cummins, Nathan Lyon, Travis Head, Marnus Labuschagne, and Josh Hazlewood are all obvious picks. Great players, alright form, and just like the frontline players. A questionable inclusion though is Josh Inglis. He's been a good player in white ball cricket, solid for collapses, but in first class he's alright. He averages 36 in Shield, which isn't half bad. But the thing is, there are better batters like Cooper Connolly or Cam Bancroft. I think the only reason that he was included here is as a backup keeper, since Carey has been better in almost every way in tests. Mitch Marsh has to be dropped. He's an inconsistent player and hasn't been in the best form. His bowling is also lackluster. There are better all-rounders other than Cam Green because he's injured, like Cooper Connolly or Bo Webster. Even if you just want him as a batter, there are better batters like Sam Coldstas or Cam Bancroft. Scott Boland is just a terrific cricketer in Test. Although he's been injured since the World Test Championship final, and not performed after coming back after injury, he's still pretty solid. Imagine dropping a player who averages like 20 in tests. The only concern is his fitness, but having bowling rotations between the tests can help this. Mitch Stark might be finished in white ball, but I don't think he's completely finished in tests. He's just a quality bowler, so keeping him is good. But I do think there are better bowlers like Doggett who are better suited and well trained to hit the pitch harder than Stark does. Nothing completely wrong with including him, but there could have been better choices. 7 out of 10 squad for Australia. Clearly Australia's squad is better, but can they perform better than India? They probably will, but a few things can go wrong, as always. I can give my predictions for these tests right now. The first test is in Perth. The pitch curator has said that a fiery pitch will be waiting for India. India will likely drop Ashwin for this test in favor of another pacer, and Australia will go for a 3-pronged pace attack without Stark. A 4-pronged pace attack might be good for Australia too, but I'm not completely sure about that. Both of the top orders might do well on this pitch, but I think Australia will do better. India definitely have a chance to win this, but with Australia's pace attack and their dominance, I will give Australia the upper hand. We don't know much about this Adelaide pitch, but obviously it's still going to be grassy. A 3-pronged attack from Australia, rotating some pacers in and some pacers out. The last time India and Australia played in Adelaide, India won. Australia's dominance in Adelaide is still something to consider though. I trust that Harshit and Bumrah will be hitting this pitch extremely hard, and they will make it a little more difficult for the Australian batters to get a full swing of the bat that they usually like. Also, I hope that Rohit will try to restrict the signals that the batters will definitely try to take. I give the upper hand here to India, though Australia will definitely make it close. The third test will be happening in Australia's fortress, the Gabba. India won in the Gabba last time, courtesy of the entire team under Rahane. Smudge, Lyon, Stark, and Cummins love the Gabba, though India will reflect on 2021's Gabba win and take inspiration from that, and will put up a tough fight. I guarantee that Jadeja and/or Ashwin and/or Sundar will be great on this pitch. The Indian batters might not do as well as they might want to, but Pant, Shuman, and Kohli will all have important roles, seeing as they can play with versatility. None of the batters and bowlers will go down without a fight. I give this match a draw. The MCG is where the next match will happen. India will definitely give a tough fight this match. Harshit or Prasidh and Bumrah will definitely be bowling well, but so will Boland and Hazelwood and Lyon. Australia's record at the MCG isn't very good these past few years, but obviously it's good, just not good for Australia. This match also looks like a draw for me. I do think that there will be a result, but for my opinion, these teams are like similarly matched in the MCG, and Kohli will try to build on his confidence, and Jaiswal will try to pick up on the deliveries early. Smudge will hope to play as he usually does, and Khawaja will try to use the pace of the bowlers early on. Bumrah and Harshit will look to build on their length, while Hazelwood and Boland will look back on their experience here. Players like Safra, Stark, and Sundar will struggle here a bit though. I don't think that Rohit will understand this pitch very well either. This is just like a harder pitch to read. Considering all of this, I give the upper hand to Australia, or a draw, just because they do so well on pitches like these. The next and final match will be happening in Sydney, and I do think that India will win this one pretty easily. Here's why. The past few matches at Sydney's have all been draws, other than like a few ones that Australia wins. And I think that India will try to take their experience with the bounce and how the pitch works to turn it into a win for them. I think that every batter will do well, and bowlers like Bumrah, Akash, and Harshit will be key for winning this match. They will be able to use the seam well and catch the Australian batters off guard. It's not just a game of bat and ball, it's a game of the mind, and Australia will be thinking that India does not know what to do here. With Gambhir and Rohit's aggressive field choices, I think it's going to be a win for India in Sydney. Australia and India will essentially be drawing 2-2, meaning that India will not qualify for the WTC final, unfortunately. But there is a possibility that India could end up winning 2-0 or 3-0 and then qualifying, but that's pretty unlikely, according to like a bunch of predictions that I've done. I think if you've like followed me on Instagram, you've seen all of my predictions. But we will find out on November 22nd, won't we?